First at 4, a search and rescue mission in the rubble of a condo collapse. Breaking information from the scene and the mystery that makes this disaster so disturbing. From show business to birth control, pop star Britney Spears paints a story of restrictive control and launches a new bid for freedom. Paula Tutman taking a look into the kind of legal battle the singer is facing today.
Case in point, Britney Spears, and why what's happening to her could actually happen to almost anyone, no matter how old you are. It's a cautionary tale.
Paula, storm's getting an early start on us, and we've got more just around the corner. Don't expect many breaks as we head into the weekend. We'll look at a very soggy forecast right now. First at 4.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Karen Drew. First at 4. This video is simply heart-stopping as you realize residents were inside that Florida high-rise as it collapsed in the middle of the night. Many ran for their lives trying to get out. The crisis started about 1:30 in the morning, and search and rescue efforts still underway at this hour. The entire country watching, hoping more survivors can be found. Hanging over the wreckage is a disturbing question. Kimberly Gill monitoring things in Florida. Kim, obviously so many people are asking, how in the world does something like this happen?
Yeah, well, right now authorities are not saying what might have caused the collapse of the beachfront condo north of Miami. We've seen similar scenes during natural disasters, but it is still a mystery why this condo suddenly crumbled to the ground with so many people inside. So an entire wing of the 12-story building collapsed with a roar in the middle of the night. We've seen dozens of life-saving rescues in this case. But we also know at least one person has died, with up to 100 people still missing. The search and rescue efforts are expected to continue even after dark, but this is a scary operation. There are concerns about the stability of the rest of the building. Teams of 10 to 12 people were entering the rubble at one time, along with rescue dogs. They work until they get tired and they switch out with another team. One resident described part of her chaotic exit. Listen.
Unfortunately, the door was jammed, and at that point we weren't sure what was even happening yet. And then when we got down to the garage and saw the water, we couldn't even understand what was happening here.
We are very, very hopeful we'll continue the search and rescue operation. We've also evacuated the 2 side buildings, and we're working with Red Cross, with our own social service agency, our police and fire departments to make sure that those people are properly situated.
And Karen, we'll continue to monitor the rescue efforts and bring you any breaking developments as they happen. Plus, we'll have another report for you at the top of our 5 o'clock newscast. For now, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right. Thank you very much, Kim. Here at home, a Detroit police officer is formally charged in the crash that killed a well-known defense attorney. 29-year-old Tiara Funderburg, seen at the bottom of your screen there, is charged with involuntary manslaughter and willful neglect of duty. The crash happened at the intersection of West Chicago and the Jeffrey Service Drive on February 8th. Prosecutors say Funderburg was responding to a call, ran a red light, and hit and killed Cliff Woodards. They say she was speeding in her police SUV with lights and sirens on. The officer faces up to 16 years in prison. She returns to court on July 7th. It is day 2 of a new effort by Detroit police to crack down on gun violence across the city. It's called Operation Restore Order. Enough is enough. The crackdown continues today with officers focusing on the east side. DPD kept it quiet yesterday, hitting the west side, looking for individuals who have warrants, probation violators, and targeting known drug dealers. 20 felony arrests were made, along with 11 guns taken off the streets. Here's the interim chief.
My job is to enforce the law constitutionally, which is what we're going to do. Those people who victimize our community, those people who carry illegal weapons, those people who shoot in the cars indiscriminately, those people who shoot young couples in their homes and bound and gag them and are out as a parole violator, those people we're going to address. We're going to get them off the street.
Defender Sean Lay is going to take you inside this operation when you join us at 5, and we'll see what kind of impact it's having on our city streets. Meantime, the city of Detroit is expanding its COVID vaccination efforts, distributing the shots door to door. This new level of service will provide vaccinations to city residents 12 and older who want to get their shots at home. All you have to do is call the number on your screen. That's 313-230 0505. Again, 313-230-0505. We also posted the number on our homepage at clickondetroit.com, so it's very easy for you to find. Meantime, state numbers holding steady. 153 new cases today. The 7-day positivity rate is below 1.2%. Sadly, 28 additional deaths have been recorded, showing the virus is still a serious threat, especially if you have not been vaccinated. Let's turn to our first forecast. Temperatures have been climbing, and we are counting down to a series of showers and storms. That radar you showed up earlier, Ben, looked a little messy.
Yeah, Karen, we thought this was not going to happen until tomorrow, but we've got an area that has been moving in from central portions of the state. This is weakening. It's not severe, and we think it is going to continue to weaken, but there's going to be some downpours and lightning strikes, especially if you're in the west and north zone here in the next few hours. Here's how we think it's going to go. Mostly, again, the northern half of the area is going to see that. By the time we get to 8, 9 o'clock, maybe a couple sprinkles a little bit further south, but this area should be wrapped up by midnight. And this is just the first of many. In fact, we could see our next round even before the sun comes up tomorrow. So our impacts are pretty much moderate right through the start of next week. Showers and thunderstorms, plenty of rain. We'll talk about just how much we're expecting and the possibility of severe weather, at least in the short term, all in just a few minutes. Karen?
Thank you, Ben. President Joe Biden says there is a deal on a bipartisan infrastructure package. He met with 10 Democratic and Republican senators today. The White House says the group agreed to modernize and expand transit, repair and rebuild roads and bridges, build a system of electric vehicle charging stations, and replace the nation's lead pipes. Sources telling CNN it will cost more than $1 trillion over 8 years. That's nearly $1 trillion less than the president proposed. The plan still faces an uphill battle getting through Congress. Whether you're a fan of Britney Spears or not, it is so hard to ignore the personal drama playing out around the pop star. The 39-year-old singer spoke out in court for the first time yesterday. She's asking a judge to end the conservatorship that's been controlling her life for 13 years now. Her father took control after she had 2 involuntary psychiatric holds in 2008. And we still don't have access to Spears' current medical records, but she says the control is threatening and abusive. Spears claims she is not able to get married, have more children, and can't even hire an attorney. As Spears' new legal battle is getting started, many of you may have questions about conservatorship. How do they make it work, and is it possible to find a way out once the court gets involved in the case? Paula Tutman spoke to experts and a member of another celebrity family about this complicated and emotional legal maneuver.
You know, it's the big famous cases you hear about, the Britney Spears, the Casey Kasems, B.B. Kings, Glenn Campbell's, big names, big money. But every single day in probate courts around the country, regular everyday people are struggling to make the best financial decisions they can for their impaired loved ones. Shelby Township attorney and conservator consultant Alan Pollack will tell you.
You know darn well that the vast majority of these cases are not problematic. Most of them involve family members that are just trying to do the best they can. It's the bad apple cases that get all the publicity.
Now, there is a difference between a court-appointed guardian and conservator. The guardian handles the physical body, medical, housing, placement. The conservator handles the money.
They both have ethical and professional responsibility to the people they care for. To have a guardian or a conservator, under most circumstances, you have to be an incapacitated person or a minor child.
In the metro area, the conservator actually has to report to the court and file accountings, showing receipts, hours served, producing a paper trail, which is why the fact that Britney Spears' conservator father was getting paid $16,000 a month is a shocker.
$16,000, I can't imagine how you could rack up those kind of fees in a month. Just taking care of an individual doesn't make any sense.
But Spears also claimed of Svengali-style control over her body and medications. Unlike in Michigan and California, the conservator can be appointed to rule over business, physical, and personal affairs. That said, Carrie Kasem, daughter of radio icon Casey Kasem, an advocate for more court accountability in these matters, and host of the podcast Bitter Blood, which chronicles her family's bitter fight over the care of her late ailing father, has been watching the Britney saga while nursing her own pain.
Maybe she needed help for the first year, maybe to get her back on her feet, but 13 years? No.
And she has this important advice for the famous and not so famous alike.
What people can learn from this is make a plan, because if you don't make a plan, somebody's going to make it for you. So once you turn 18, I don't care if all you have is a backpack and a cat. Make a plan. Where do you want that cat to go? Where do you want your life to go if something happens? Do you want to stay on life support? Do you not want to stay on life support? Who do you want taking care of you? People think, oh, I'm young. I don't need to do that. Wrong.
You need that power of attorney, that durable power of attorney, the paperwork signed and done before it gets to the court level. Paula Tutman, Local 4.
As for Spears, her attorneys now have to file an official petition to end the conservatorship, and the next scheduled court date is July 14th. Still ahead, first at 4, many American women keep their own last names when they get married. Today, there is a new ruling on that practice in another country, and the court's decision might surprise you. Also, diversity problems at the palace. A new report shows Prince Harry and his wife were not wrong when they spoke out about royal shortcomings. First, he used to be a federal prosecutor. Now, Rudy Giuliani is paying a price for claims he made after the 2020 election.